Hey ladies, I'm so excited for our morning show this morning. I'm obviously Kristen, and obviously we have Randy here too. And we just came off of a really good weekend. Randy's was obviously going to be a lot better than mine because she went to the Forward event, which I had major FOMO the whole time because her and a lot of the other people in our industry that I know were there and texting me how fantastic it was. So we thought today that we could come to you and talk about the power of investing in events. And then Randy's going to share with us just a couple like takeaways that she took from the Forward event over the last couple days.
Oh my gosh. And I'm going to make Kristen feel even worse here because I ended up with an unused ticket. And so she totally could have been there the whole time. And so I just want to start by saying, like, I want to give you a little snippet and a little like confession, which is that I have been guilty of attending events and like not wanting to talk to anyone. And
Yeah.
wanting to be the fly on the wall and just like be there but not really be there and be present. And so I'm so excited because that was not the case at all. And I was really fortunate because some Arizona agents actually came up and they were there and we just really tapped in together. And so especially with like these big conferences, you just don't ever see the colliding of the industry experts, the thought leaders, the lineup, Kristen, was freaking crazy. I already told you, everybody was, especially Erin, was like so excited. She was like, I'm never missing another conference for the rest of my life, because Alex Hermosi ended up being a surprise guest. So if that doesn't set the tone that Alex Hermosi was a surprise bonus guest, I don't know what does. But just getting to learn from experts and get motivated and get exposed to new ideas and really dive into brand visibility was a really cool experience. But I want to tell you a few things I did to prep. And so really, I planned ahead and I kind of got familiar with the speakers and really wanted to align like my takeaways with my goals. So I think sometimes we go to events and we don't have enough intentionality. And then there's so much value that's delivered that it can almost be like detrimental because we didn't know what we wanted getting in. And then we get so much, it's like, what the heck do we take out? Right.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually love that you just said that because it is makes it so much more powerful when you're like, I'm going to stalk all the people that are going to be on stage because you also want to meet them if you can. And usually when you're at these conferences, they're roaming the halls and
Yeah.
like you get those opportunities. If you find somebody and you're like, they are really intriguing to me, go introduce yourself to them.
Yeah, 100%. Well, and that kind of is another one of like my plan ahead things, which is to network strategically. So yes, absolutely. If you can network, I've heard people say like, oh, I don't pay for proximity. And at first, the first time I ever heard somebody say like, I'm not going to pay for VIP meet or greet, it kind of shamed me because I had recently like paid for myself and my kids to meet Gary Vee. And so I felt like the shame. And then I was like, wait a minute, that's like dumb. Like that's super dumb because, networking is a shortcut. If you can find the people that have done the things that you want to do, you can greatly decrease the time it takes you. So I think that's super powerful to network specifically, and not only with, of course, like the keynote speakers, but with other people. So it's like I went in and I was like, I want to come out with 5 new agent referral relationships, right? And so it's like, then I was intentional and I had a list of specific people that I wanted to go up and meet for one reason or another. And so like each day I was like, all right, I did it. So this person's off, or I only have tomorrow to do this person. And so that was really cool too, around like the networking.
I love that.
So yeah, so some of my takeaways, I mean, one of my biggest takeaways, and I'm going to say this, and I freaking loved this. Alex Hermosi, this was like a really powerful moment because Kristen, you and I are big like planners and vision and goals. And I, right here on this side of my computer, have my 3-year vision map of where I want to be. But Neil actually was sitting down and doing like a Q&A with Alex and was like, where do you want to be in? Or I think the topic of where he wants to be in 5 years comes up. And he's like, I don't freaking know. Like, I don't care. That's not how I operate. I do the work today because what I know is if I do the work today, I'll have more opportunities in 5 years.
Oh my gosh, I love that resonates with me so much because I couldn't tell you where I'm going to be next year at this time. But I
Yeah.
do love the activities of like day to day because I know it moves the needle forward.
Well, and that was like huge for me because I feel like, and this is the other thing, another side note takeaway is like when you go into these, you have to realize that some people are going to say opposite, and you have to find the stuff that works for you. So that's why you got to go in so intentional. But that was like one of the ahas that worked for me because it's like, I've had so many people saying like, you need this 12-year vision, 12-month map, you need this 3-year map, that it's like, I'm always focused on trying to get to where I'm supposed to be in 5 years and not just doing the damn work. And honestly, at the end of the day, while I have a lot of goals, as long as I am living a higher vibrancy in life, and I have my family and my income stronger, like I don't really have any like non-negotiables. I don't care what state we're in. I don't care like any of those things. I have so much flexibility. And so that was a huge takeaway. Like just doing the work creates more opportunities. And when you have the opportunities, it's much easier to build that vision, right?
Love that.
Yeah, so that was one of my big takeaways. And then something else that I really loved, and this is kind of cool. I mean, there were so many speakers and there was so much goodness that came out of it. Let me see. Hold on. I took so many notes. Brand building. So I mean, Kristen, I think you and I both know this, but this one was kind of powerful because the brand building can be really, really hard around like, how do I build a brand? And it really simplified it. I think it was Rory who said this, but it was like, you want your brand to speak to others and how it serves them, right? Mm-hmm. And so that they can associate with like, and so they showed some different like leaders and how they're associated with like one thing. So they talked about like people that are associated with like shame or like one topic, and like, that person with that. And that really simplified it for me, because as a real estate agent, I feel like I have to be all things to everyone. Mm-hmm. And it was like, it was a reiteration of like how powerful niching down is, right? So like, if people just think about compound living and living with their family, I just want them to think of me. But if they think of high-rise condos, I really don't care if they think about me.
Totally. Mm-hmm.
Right. And so, and that they obviously shared it in like the more motivational capacity of like speakers speaking on shame and guilt and all the things. But the same thing is applicable as agents, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you should be known. Like if people are like, I don't know, moving to Gilbert, like they should think of you, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that was, but this is the one that really got me excited. So totally, again, talking about like, you don't know where you're going to be. I have some big stuff coming up in my life. It'll all be announced if you follow me on social this week. But funny enough, all of my worlds collided. My local market, my big high-level cloud-based brokerage relationships, like everything collided at this event. And Sharon took the stage. And he was so good, Kristen, and so tactical. And really, I can summarize it, but it was like proof over promise, right? He like walked you through just all the different ways to show the proof. And he showed like videos of like how you can show people, because if you can show them versus promise them, if you can lead with proof instead of the promise, like I promise it'll be this great experience, but you show them, like you just shortcut that trust. That's how you get to the trust, right?
Yeah.
So I freaking loved that.
Well, I think that that's so powerful, and I love how tactical he is. He actually, his email that just went out this week, and I don't know if you read it, but it was just talking about basically he's just very tactical in all of his advice, and I just appreciate that so much. It's like short and sweet and to the point, and proof over promise. I'm like, it's so simple, but I think people need to be told that kind of stuff over and over before they start doing it.
Yeah. And if you weren't there, you totally missed out, because he like walked through the entire thing and like showed examples. And I actually think his slides, I have the link, so I'll drop them in like our show notes, because he shared his slides. And so you got like the whole slide deck, and it shows the videos. And it was really, especially in our business, it's like, we were talking about this last week with Whitney and Kim from Real Social, but it's like, sometimes we make something so simple, so overly complex. And it was like these videos that he shared just showed agents that had put out really good proof videos that were simple. And I think that we forget like how much we do that could immediately be converted to proof.
Yeah. Yeah. And if anyone wants to be added into his Instagram group, you guys should reach out to me.
Oh, he has an Instagram group? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I am in it, and it's fantastic. So feel free to message me and I will put you guys in there, but it's basically just like good value. It's called Real Estate Secrets. And it's just value, like every so often, every couple days, super tactical on things that you can immediately do.
Yeah, I freaking love that. Real quick, I wanted to give you the visual for what I was referencing. So you see how it's like Dave Ramsey is like synonymous with debt. And then Brene Brown is with shame, Tony Robbins, pain, Lewis Howes, is it Howes? I don't know, self-doubt. But it was like that, like, you know, like understanding to have like that one thing that, so I was actually really thankful because obviously I have faith, family, real estate. And so I was like, I really like that people can associate, like if you want faith in your real estate transaction, I'm your girl, right?
Yeah.
But it really simplified it. And here's the thing too, that was the other like big tone throughout was like, it's never too late, but it's just about like actually taking action, right? And being willing to have risk and just do it even if you fail.
Yeah. Love that.
Yeah.
And I
Those were,
think that's good. I feel like that took me a long time and like really attaching myself to the word community and like everything I do. And I feel like the moment I started doing that, I had such a shift in my business where I went from like chasing people to attracting people too, because I was more clear, where before I was unclear on what that word was. So I definitely like have seen it happen in my own business.
yeah. Well, and it was funny because I also got excited around like the relationships that started at the conference and just really getting to carry those on. I got to tell you, there was this cutest couple, and I just want to like share this out there for anybody who might be listening that feels like, should I do it? Shouldn't I do it? And they were both, I want to say, in like their 70s, and they were everywhere. They were like at the after parties where the clubs were, they were everywhere.
Love
And they
that.
were just so excited for life and like so on fire. And it's, you know what? It just like, I don't know. It just really excited me to see that, because I think a lot of our moms are like hesitant and they feel like they can't do it because they have littles, or they're too old, or they're too young, or they don't have enough experience. And that was another thing that Sharon also talked about. Like he talked about the agent that doesn't have experience having proof in trying. I think Alex Hermosi talked about this too. He was, because something they talked about is like he's put out 35,000 pieces of content and he's like made X amount of money. Well, the proof could be that he's made X amount of money, or the proof could be the muscle of putting out 35,000 pieces of content. And the person that put out the 35,000 pieces could have made zero, but still had the muscle to do the activity. And so the agent that hasn't closed $100 million in transactions could still put out the proof that they do the work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great point. I love that. And really like you're saying, if you're going to go to an event, go to an event, go to all the
Yes.
things, meet the people. Don't go and sit by yourself and not make new friends. Like you've got to like really, if you're investing the money to go, like
Yeah.
fully go. So I love that message. If you guys want to be in community with me and Randy and go to one of our events, we have one coming up November 6th. It's going to be the Flourish event. You can go to theflourishevent.com. That's a 1-day event. If you're wanting to dive into what it's like really, really hone in on your community building and event planning skills, we're doing a room creator retreat around the Flourish event. So just feel free to reach out to me. And thank you guys for tuning in today.
Yes, I love it. And I do want to end on this one note that was really powerful. So I'm forgive me because I'm Jordy. What was her name? The makeup girl, Kern Lima. She's like a big Jamie Kern Lima. Okay, so I just want to share this because I feel like this might be one of our moms, Kristen.
Mm-hmm.
She wanted to build a makeup company. She wasn't in that space, nothing. She was just somebody who suffered horribly with like rosacea and was in the news anchor industry. She got rejections for over 6 years and basically was like bankrupting her family, and ultimately was told no, because we don't believe women will buy makeup from you because of how you look and because of your weight. And so she was shot down, and it was always based on her looks and her weight. Ultimately, she sold her makeup company to L'Oreal for $1.2 billion is how her story ends, which is pretty freaking epic and amazing. But I want to share that because I feel like the real estate industry has some of the same effect of the beauty industry, where it just has like the beautiful people on Instagram that everything looks beautiful, everything looks perfect, it all looks curated. And sometimes that can make us feel like how do we be I always joke that like I'm not that powerhouse. Like I do not know how to like have that cheekbone. I don't know how to do it, right? So no matter where you are, what you are, like just know that you have that unique gifting and you bring something to the table, and like you're doing a disservice. Change the thought process around the fact that like you're hesitant to put yourself out there to you're doing a disservice because you're somebody's person and they would have a better transaction with you. So by not putting yourself out there, you're not giving them the best fit.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Thank you for sharing that. That's
Yeah.
so good.
I thought that was really cool. So, all right, ladies, we will see you guys again next week. Have a good week.
Okay. Bye.
Bye, guys.